The Best Hit USA。 こんばんは、小林克也です。今日はこの2人をスタジオに迎えております。スイングアウトシスターのコリーンとアンディです。Welcome。
元気ですか？
元気です。Congratulations on the second album, which is coming out to be very successful, I guess. Right?
Well, hopefully.
How many countries are the records sold? Have you ever counted?
No, it seems to do reasonably well in a lot of places. It doesn't seem to be the sort of thing that has one very strong place. So, which is good. I like that it does has reasonable success in very many places.
Your first album was released 3 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And this is the first one in 3 years.
It was 2.
2 years?
2 years.
2 years?
Yeah.
What have you been doing mainly?
Well, I think we've been conscious of having strong enough material really to come back with, because it's a lot of people. It's very difficult to come back with a second album that's as strong.
Right.
So you have to spend the time, coming up with strong songs again. So we've been doing a lot of writing. I bought a new piano, so I sit there and struggle away. Corin's been writing lots of words and throwing them away. But we haven't really, we've been just sitting at home and struggling.
Yeah, struggling mostly.
But not a long time in the studio, really. About the same time, 3 months or so.
You mean you write mostly outside the studio?
Yeah.
And when you have them ready, you go in and you record quickly?
Very old-fashioned way. Yeah.
Uh-huh. What about making video clips? Do you all
Well, we
conceive?
don't direct our own videos, and we don't usually come up with the initial storyline, but we wouldn't want to be portrayed as something, we don't like. So we usually discuss with the director till we can come up with something that we're both happy with. I mean, it was a difficult thing, I think, when you're first signed to a record company and you're signed on the strength of your songwriting abilities and maybe your performance abilities, and then suddenly videos come along and you're faced with the problem of, well, it's acting in a way. I mean, there's a certain amount of performance in the video, but to make it more interesting, you want to add a bit of a storyline or a bit of a theme to it, and it's quite difficult. I think we just kind of blunder along and hope.
But don't you
hope
enjoy
it? Turns out. Yeah, I think it's enjoyable. It's something new to test your skills at, but I think we've got a long way to go before we reach Steve McQueen and Faye Dunaway status, which was a film starring those two people influenced our video for You On My Mind, which is the current single, but it wasn't so much the contents of the film or the storyline. It was more the treatment, the technical treatment. It was there were a lot of grids and box split screen effects with different storyline going on in each box. Well, there's not really long enough in a 3.5-minute video to get much of a story across, but just different images and splitting the screen. We used that as inspiration from the film The Thomas Crown Affair, which starred Steve McQueen and Faye Dunaway. But
Swing Out Sister, You On My Mind. How about performing in front of people live? Do you like it?
Well,
Haven't had much opportunity to do it, really.
You haven't performed live, you mean?
we did one tour in England maybe 4 years ago, which before Breakout came out, and it was good fun, but it was very low key, kind of low profile thing. And so there was no expectations of the thing, you know, there was just us and a few musicians. But I think gradually since the records, you know, we've been in the studio and we really have not had any limitations to what to do. So we'll have an orchestra and we'll have a harmonica player and a harpist. And I think all those things, it's great in the studio, but it makes a big problem when you have to do a concert.
Stage.
Yeah, because there's too many people there. You couldn't afford even to have them. So
I think that's the same kind of trouble the Pet Shop Boys people had. They had, but finally they're making their tour. I guess it takes a lot of money.
They're playing here, aren't they?
Yeah. Is your show, is it going to be like a review or, you know? With
Don't know yet. Still to be decided.
Well, I thought we got the impression that you have been performing for small clubs, you know, with all the, you know, kind of sophisticated clubs. Maybe you haven't done that.
No.
So, Corinne, you haven't actually sung for the audience, and you haven't experienced this rapport with the close.
No, I haven't.
It's amazing. I mean, I kind of thought, you know, you haven't singing in clubs.
Well, you always wanted to, didn't you? It's me that stopped her, really. So I'm very lazy.
The only reason I wanted to be in a band was because I wanted to go on tour. I thought that was all it entailed, being in a band. You just get on a tour bus and you drive off and go and tour the world. I mean, the travel involved, I think, was the thing that appealed to me, but I didn't realise that it could take up all of your time just promoting records and making them. We're going to have to make time to go on tour.